Let's move on to João Félix, who is being linked with the move back to Benfica, but Aston Villa are in the mix. Now, his loan at Barcelona has expired, so at the time of this recording, he's had to return back to Atlético Madrid. Let's all pray for João Félix's mental health, because I do not believe this guy actually thought he'd be going back to Atlético. The way that he shamelessly celebrated twice versus them, because he scored against them in both games this season. This guy was celebrating like he lost his damn mind. And I was thinking, does he not remember that he's an Atletico player? The fans hate him. I think he can't stay at that club. Like, it's been the relationship between Atletico and João Félix, in my opinion, is over. And if I was them, I wouldn't sell him to Barcelona for a good price. I think João Félix is a good player, by the way. I know a lot of people don't really rate him like that. I think there's a player in there. I like how he plays. I think you could play him on the left wing. You could play him as a center forward / false nine. And depending on the system, I think he'd cook. Like, I rate him. I know that his value has dropped massively since Atletico brought him in for about $130 million. But there's still a player there. And I think if he goes to a team that has the right system, he'll perform well. At Barcelona last season, I think he played well. And then Xavi just dropped him for no reason. I don't really understand what happened. But he was one of their better attacking players until Lamine Yamal broke through, really. And I think Barcelona would want to bring him back. But as I said, if you're Atletico, Barca are one of your rivals. You guys are fighting for trophies in the league, fighting for league positioning. Why the hell would you help them out and give them a good price? We all know that Barcelona are in a financial crisis, everybody wants us to believe. But there's no way you should be selling him back for $15 million or even giving them a loan deal. If you want 30 M's for him, stick to your price. Now, Benfica, he could possibly go back there, his boyhood club. That's where he broke through. And talk about a finesse. You sold him to Atletico for $130 million, and now you're going to be able to bring him back for around 30 M's? I mean, that seems like good business to me. I think João Félix would do well in the Portuguese league. We saw him do well there before. And with Aston Villa now being in the mix, you can't count them out. I think Unai Emery and Villa's board have done some really good business since selling Jack Grealish. Look at the squad that they have. And they're going to be in the Champions League next season. They came top 4 last season. They're going to have to strengthen. They've already lost Douglas Luiz. But that doesn't mean that they aren't going to be aggressive in this transfer window to have a better squad. Because now they're going to be competing in the Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup. When's the last time you guys saw Aston Villa in the Champions League? Because they are a big club historically. But I don't think I've ever seen them play Champions League ball since I started watching this sport. And I think their project is attractive because, again, they're doing good business. Look at that squad. It's very talented. I think if you add João Félix to that team, you could play him as like maybe a second striker. You could play him on that left wing as well. I think he would cook. And I think this would be a good value signing because you're getting a player that has a lot of potential that's not going to cost you a lot. Now, I don't think he'll ever be world class, but I think he could be just a really good player. He's good on the ball. He's technical, can link play. His scoring is, it's a lot to be desired. But I don't think he's a player that you necessarily buy to put up front and look for him to bag you 30 goals a season. And I think what's ruined his career, or what's kind of brought it on this downward trajectory, is him going to Atletico Madrid. I think that was the wrong move. Imagine if at that time he would have went to Man City or Barcelona back then, or maybe a Dortmund, something like that. I think that would have benefited him more than going to Atletico, who play haram football, right? Let's be honest. João Félix is a guy that needs to be on the ball. He likes to slow down the game. He likes to get his teammates involved. At Atletico, Diego Simeone is more so wanting to defend. Like they're a very pragmatic, pessimistic kind of team. I hate Atletico Madrid. They're annoying as shit. They always seem to give us issues every damn season. I don't know what it is. Fuck those guys. But yeah, Villa, I think that'd be a good move for him. Back to the Premier League. He was on loan at Chelsea, where I thought he looked pretty decent. But I believe Atletico, they wanted like 80 million for Chelsea to make that deal permanent. He's not worth that money. I think anywhere from 25 to 35 million, we're talking. But his value is just cooked. And I'm pretty sure that Atletico just want to get rid of him. But yeah, man, I think João Félix is the only person in the world that didn't remember he had to go back to Atletico. This guy was celebrating. I remember a few weeks ago, he did an interview, and he was like, yeah, I talk to Bernardo Silva all the time. And I tell Bernardo Silva he should be joining us at Barcelona. And I'm like, brother, if they go bring in Bernardo Silva, your ass is going back to Atletico. They're not going to be able to sign Bernardo Silva and bring your ass back. Like, you're basically recruiting a guy to take your place. You are not a Barcelona player. But yeah, I think a move back to Portugal or Villa would be really good for him. I prefer him to go back to Villa just so that they can strengthen and go again next season, because I think Villa, they already got a good squad. They have the second best manager in the league in Unai Emery. I think what they got going on is really exciting if you're a younger player or if you're a Villa fan. So yeah, let's see what happens with that. But yeah, Premier League move, I would prefer him to do that just because then I'd be able to watch him more. I'm not watching the Portuguese league, right? But I think he goes to Villa, he'd cook.